Hey everyone, you guys ready for science? Well, first we have to read a fun story called A Remainder of One by the same woman, Eleanor Penzes, who wrote 100 Ants. And it's so cute. So let me read it to you. And then later on you can take a test on it, all right? A Remainder of One. The story of Joe might just well explain what happens to numbers when they must remain after division and they're left behind. As lonesome reminders, it seems so unkind. Didn't look very happy. Down by an orchard of young apple trees, the sunshine felt hot, about 90 degrees. So insects all scurried for any cool shade. From mushroom or leaf, they watched a parade. The 25th Squadron marched past the bug crowd, bound and determined to make their queen proud. The troop had divided by two for the show. Each bug had a partner, except for Soldier Joe. Hup, 2, 3, 4, we're in the 25th Army Corps. Queens count 2, 3, we are the marching infantry. Queen does not look very happy. The queen was not pleased. We're unhappy to find that one soldier's left at the end of a line. A honeybee hovered above Lone Joe's head. The queen likes things tidy, the bee sternly said. I'm sorry, Private, said Joe's Sergeant Stephen. You must stand aside so the troop will be even. The two sides of 12 that marched neatly away. Well, Bug Soldier Joe had no choice but to stay. Lone Soldier Joe learned it wasn't much fun to find himself labeled Remainder of One. The brainy Bug Soldier stayed up the whole night. Perhaps one more line would make everything right. All 25 soldiers marched past the bug crowd, nervously hoping they'd make their queen proud. The troop had divided by 3 for the show. Each line seemed perfect. Then someone spied Joe. Hup, 2, 3, 4, we're in the 25th Army Corps. Queens count 2, 3, we are the marching infantry. Oh, the regal head shook. It's disturbing to find one oddball bug at the end of a line. A slender mosquito loomed over Joe's head. Too bad you're a misfit, the pest sharply said. I'm sorry, Private, said Joe's Sergeant Stephen. If you stand aside, then the troops will look even. The 3 lines of 8 all marched neatly away, while sad and disheartened, poor Joe had to stay. The oddball bug Joe knew it wasn't much fun to feel so left out, a remainder of one. Again, the lone soldier thought all through the night, with one more bug line, it might work out right. I like his hat. See his hat hung up there? The 25th Squadron marched past the bug crowd, anxiously longing to make their queen proud. The troop had divided by 4 for the show. The lines all looked even, whoa, till they spotted Joe. Her Highness pointed. We're angry to find a tag-along bug at the end of one line. A shy dragonfly fluttered over Joe's head. Oh, now don't get discouraged, the fly softly said. I'm sorry, Private, said Joe's Sergeant Stephen. You must stand aside, then the troop will be even. As 4 lines of 6 marched so neatly away, and Joe couldn't watch, for he had to stay. Poor tag-along Joe didn't have any fun, always left out, remainder of one. But hard-thinking Joe had the answer that night. Another bug line must make it work right. The 25th Squadron marched past the proud queen, the neatest, best troopers that she'd ever seen. 5 lines of soldiers with 5 lines in each row, perfect at last, And that's Counting Joe. Good show, said her Grace. Your rows are divine. We see no remainder to ruin your line. The troop looked proud in their skill at dividing. Joe was pleased he was there, marching and not hiding. There he is. The coolest bug soldier beneath the hot sun, smart Joe, the former remainder of one. So how many lines? So how many lines did they have? They had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 lines with 5 in them. Okay, well, why don't we count? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So they had 25 bugs. But the only way to make it even is to put it into groups of 5. When they put it in, what do? They put it in groups of 2, and that didn't make it. That was 24. And then they put it in groups of 3 and groups of 4. And the only way to be even is to put it in groups of 5. They have 5 in each group. Awesome. All right, well, I'll tell you what. If you want to take a test on the remainder of 1, here's the number. I'm going to set it just for a couple of seconds so maybe you can see it. Maybe write it down so later on you can take a test on it. Okay. Got it? All righty. Good show. All right, I'm going to turn this off. And here we go with amazing insects. Now here's just a few of amazing insects. Remember, there's a gazillion of them. There are so many bugs, we couldn't even count them. But here's some really kind of neat ones, okay? This one is a leaf bug because, as you can tell, he looks like a leaf. That's a great thing with camouflage, isn't it? If he's in the jungle and he's on some log or something, no one would see him because if he stood still, he'd look like a leaf. This guy is called a water strider because he has these little pads on the ends of his legs where he can just sit on the water. Isn't that cool? Look at this ladybug. Look at these fabulous wings. Who knew these big old wings are inside that little ladybug? Isn't that neat? And these are fossils and you can have a fossil anytime, where a bug, sits on the dirt, some hard dirt, maybe some other dirt has covered it up, and then it gets hard, and you dig through it, and it's made an impression. And so here you've got some fossils, and these don't have to be thousands of years old. This could be a fossil from, maybe a year ago where the bug has died or whatnot, and then maybe water had gotten on it, and then mud had gotten on it, and then it hardened, and then maybe someone went through, was digging through and found this impression of these two guys. All right, I'm going to show you one thing about a firefly, which I think are so interesting. It's not very long, but super, I think they're so cool. Oh. Don't turn the lights out. Isn't that cool? So those are fireflies. You can't even see them. Have you guys ever seen a firefly before? We really don't have them here in California, and I've been to Colorado. I've never seen them there, or even like Nevada. I went to Pennsylvania 3 years ago, clear across the United States. Let's watch really quick now that we've got some where my cousin lives. She lives in Pennsylvania. And we were sitting out on her patio, and all of a sudden I'd see these lights. I got so excited. My cousin thought I was crazy. And I'm going, oh, look, and I'm taking pictures. And it's just so neat. Another creation of God's. Well, this is him right here. There he is. Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you can see him. It's probably, what are you guys looking at? Oh. Isn't that neat? What a cool thing. Oh, I hope you guys, if you go on vacation at all this summer, you go somewhere where you can see a firefly. Wouldn't that be cool? That'd be so cool. That's neat. I love it. Now, tomorrow, not tomorrow, Monday, when we come back from the weekend, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with your insect report. And you're going to be getting it in your bags today and tomorrow. You'll see this insect report and go, what is this for? And what it is you're all going to get an insect with information about that insect, and you're going to write about it, okay? And like I said, Monday, I will go through it with you, so don't get all excited and get all worried about it, because I'll go through it with you. And that's really your journal writing. So every day you just write a couple of lines about what they're asking for. And we've given you a card with all the information on it. So that should be easy. And now that you're at home, you can maybe get on your iPad or whatnot and type in your insect and find out a few more things. It's a great time to learn something new. Okay, I know someone has got the leaf plant and the water strider and a firefly, so I'm excited to hear about some of those things. Okay, so anything that has to do with the insects, I can explain on Monday about what everything is. You even have a little lap book. You know those lap books that open up and you have all different kinds of things about insects in them. So that's what we have on Monday. All right. So anyway, real quick review. Let's do a quickie review here. All right. God's design, which I love, God's design for insects to play important roles. They are food for other bugs. There you go. Remember we said that the ladybug, she eats other bugs. In fact, she eats aphids, and aphids are tiny little bitty bugs, and they can get on plants. And farmers love ladybugs because aphids, when they get on plants, they eat all the plants, and they will just keep eating no matter how small they are. They eat. And some farmers might buy ladybugs. Believe it or not, there's farms that grow ladybugs. They might buy the ladybugs, so the ladybugs go out on their crops, or people that have gardens, they might go to somewhere and buy ladybugs. And the ladybugs they set free on their gardens, and they'll eat the aphids because the aphids are eating their plants. So, so they do eat other bugs, so the bugs don't eat the plants. They pollinate, which promotes plant growth. So when they pollinate, when they go from one flower to another, they get that yellow pollen. And they get the pollen from one flower, go to another flower, and that pollen goes into that flower, and then he gets more. And that's what the plants need to grow. They need different kinds of pollen from different flowers to grow. Well, they inspire art and music. That's true.
Attention all teachers.
Sorry.
Attention all teachers. There's a Zoom meeting, a voluntary Zoom meeting, if you would like to participate, happening right now at 2:30. Again, there's a voluntary Zoom meeting happening
guys.
at 2:30 if you would like to participate. Thank you.
All right. Sorry about that. So they do inspire art and music. There's all kinds of music about butterflies and different kinds of insects and and art especially. There's always some beautiful pictures of butterflies and things like that. And they protect plants from harmful bugs, which is exactly what the ladybug does. So not only does it protect the plants and eats the bugs, but it's also food for other bugs. Just like the aphids are foods for the ladybugs, so the ladybugs can then protect the plants. So there's a lot going on there, isn't there? All right, and then the insect has 3 body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. It can have wings. It can have an antenna. And remember the mouths, everyone has a different mouth. 3 body parts. And how many legs? Oh gosh, Jaden's not here. How many? Does it have a backbone like we have? Anybody? 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 No, it does not. What kind of skeleton? Does it have a skeleton or does it have an exoskeleton? Anybody? Anybody? An exoskeleton. Yeah, because it's on the outside, isn't it? To protect everything that's inside it. Warm-blooded or cold-blooded? Now remember in our story about the remainder, about how it was a hot day and the bugs were scurrying about? Well, yeah, it's a hot day because their blood is hot, and so they're moving around a lot faster. If it was cold, they'd all be hiding somewhere to keep warm because they don't have anything to keep them warm. So they are cold-blooded because their blood temperature changes with the weather. Okay, so there we go. Also, it has it lays eggs, right? It lays eggs. So, all right, sweeties. Well, I will see you on Monday. And like I said, all the science information, everything that you get in your bags, I'll go over with you on Monday. So don't freak out that there's all this work because I'm going to help you through it. Okay? All right, you guys, have a good evening. Bye-bye.